There's breaking news this hour. A Home Affairs building in Germiston is on fire. Ekurhuleni emergency crews are on the scene trying to contain the blaze. Several streets in the area now closed to traffic, and it's believed that this building was allegedly torched by people evicted from the Faroe Park flats.
Behind me here is Home Affairs building that is well alight. It's a two-story building. Currently, the top section is the one that is well alight. The bottom one, we are still battling to break in and go and see what is happening. So resources are here, multiple stations with the multiple vehicles, and a number of firefighters are on site. And in terms of the street operations, President Street and Jack Street are closed for traffic, and all the buildings nearby have been closed for safety and operational purposes. So the scene is still unfolding. So far, no casualties reported, and the actual cause of the fire is still undetermined.
And Nqobile Madlala is there. Nqobile, what's the latest? Good morning.
Well, Iman, I can show you what is taking place here. Various of groups, basically, of people who are trying to assist in ensuring that that fire is finally stopped. So we can already see some of those fire engines from Ekurhuleni. There are various people here. It's very busy. And we understand that that fire is still obviously being stopped. As you can see there's some water that's coming out of the actual building. I do have EMS with me, William Clady, who's going to give us more details whilst Kevin does show us what is taking place there. But William, if you can just explain to us what caused the fire.
Thank you so much. The actual cause of the fire is still undetermined. However, the information received on site is that now apparently there is an arson case. So that means some other people came here and put up the petrol bomb into the structure. But that will be basically a point of investigations by the law enforcement agencies. But we can confirm that now the building started from this corner here, where I am. Then it was burning from the top section towards the other side, towards the southern part of this building. So, yeah, the actual cause is undetermined. So far, we don't know if ever there are casualties or not, but we can confirm that we have brought the flames under control. So underneath at the ground level, so there is a minimal damage, but it's only water damage and smoke damage at the ground floor.
I mean, just what Kevin was showing, basically it looks like the entire roof is out. If you can look at it in terms of the damage, can you give us an update of what's happening there? What are you seeing?
So actually, since we all know the chemistry behind a fire itself, so that's why the entire roof is basically destroyed completely. So, but we managed to contain it in such a way that if you look at the structures in the neighborhood, we managed to do defensive firefighting, fire suppression, and now we are now busy with actual hotspots that we can identify and be able to extinguish.
Did this place have, and I know maybe you might not know this, but did they have any cameras? Because you're saying it's a case of arson where they maybe can be able to get that evidence.
No, look, we know that now the damage is very extensive. So any gadgets of some sort might be destroyed currently. But we will definitely leave everything over to the law enforcement agencies, the forensic investigators, to check as to how will they be able to articulate themselves through this entire ordeal. And apparently in the morning, if you can see behind us here, there was actually a protest. So we don't know what actually caused the issue of this fire, whether it's the protesting people or who caused that. But as I said, let's leave everything over to the law enforcement agencies and be the only ones who will be able to determine what actually conspired into this whole ordeal.
And I want us to tell us about that enforcement, because we see a number of firefighters on the ground. Let's look at the numbers that you have basically unleashed, in a sense, to try and extinguish this fire.
Definitely, this being a home affairs, number one, and specifically this one, we know that now they are always chock-a-block. Lots of people are here. Some of them are sleeping even outside. Then we know that now is a structure that is always having big number of people. So we also have to activate the available resources to come here, thinking about the injuries that we might pick up. But fortunately, so far, we don't have anyone that we can specifically say is injured as a result of this fire. And one other thing, one will think about the city center. Buildings are next to each other. And we know the chemistry of fire can spread through certain mechanism in the sense of radiation, in the form of conduction, and in the form of convection. So as that, it tells us that there are possibilities. There were very much possibilities according to our risk assessment that now other buildings were to be involved as well. But fortunately, defensively, we managed to contain the blaze and now we managed to extinguish it.
And I like that you're saying that you're putting a lot of people on the ground to assist. But I think one of the major things is that Home Affairs basically houses a lot of documentation and a lot of work for people who are South Africans that maybe go through this Home Affairs to get their documents. Were you able to save any of that?
So currently, I will say the base, the ground floor is basically saved from the blaze itself. As I said, it might have been now the damage is either water damage or smoke damage at the base. But now, yes, on top, that is, we don't know whether it's an office block or not, since the operation is still continuing. So we will be able to go inside to do our secondary search, rescue and recovery. Should we get anybody injured or trapped or any damages, we'll be able to identify them. So at the base as well, we will be able to do that. But for now, we cannot confirm as to the extent of damage on the top and even at the base level, at the ground level.
And I'm going to ask you again, well, with regards to the documentation, the paperwork that was in there, were you able to bring anything out? So
ourselves, we haven't yet taken anything out of that. We do have Home Affairs staffs who are here. They will be able to tell us. We haven't yet engaged with them as to what other equipment or resources or whatever documents they managed to save out of this building itself.
And just maybe clarity in terms of when did the fire start and how long now are you going to go on to try and extinguish?
We will say we received a call from the firefighters who were actually passing by here because it was around 7 o'clock in knock-off time. So some other firefighters, they are staying around here in the city center. So they identified the issue of the fire. Like we're saying, it started as a sort of a protest. So that's why you can see there is ash of the burnt tires around the streets here. So then as a result, within no time, then the structure was on fire. So of which now we can say we received it around 7 o'clock. And we will be here up until the entire operation is definitely under control.
We thank you very much for your time. That is Ekurhulene's EMS giving us details, Iman, of what happened in this area. We are told that the fire started around about 7 o'clock in the morning. It was some of those firefighters that were passing by that then started alerting EMS of what is taking place. But of course, what was happening here is that it was coinciding with the protest that is taking place. And you'll see there on your screen, that is some of the burnt tires that are left behind. And they then saying that when all of this took place, there was a protest that was taking place, which is why one of the things that they are going to be looking at or investigating is basically a case of arson. But of course, SAPS is going to be on that investigation, and we'll get more details once there is somebody who can speak to us with regards to that investigation. In the meantime, they're saying that the entire block at the top has been affected. You will note that the roof itself, Iman, has been completely burnt from the side that we're in, and what's left is really just a portion on your left-hand side where you can already see there are some firefighters that are there that are trying to extinguish what is left of that fire. But in the meantime, we know that Ekurhuleni has basically brought in various teams to try and save this block, to ensure that Home Affairs does not lose so much. And they're saying that there are some people from Home Affairs who are workers in this area who are able and who will be explaining to us whether or not that documentation has been lost. But in the meantime, we understand that the entire building has been affected and they're continuing to extinguish until the fire is completely gone. Iman.
And with the Nqobile Madlala in a similar vicinity or in the same vicinity is Zola Sholwana. Zola, what have you found out? Good morning.
Well, Iman, we are just not far from where Nqobile is, and of course I'm sure you're able to see through my visuals that firefighters are still extinguishing the fire that we believe started early this morning. In fact, we are joined by one of the eyewitnesses that was here to collect his passport. Abuti, thank you very much for your time. Just take us through what happened.
Quarter to 8, it go collect the passport. So it's a get like a level let's motiling at all. I look at a lemolo, what did I remotely but was strike. So I got 1 hour with a within 10 minutes, he went a local first floor, more home affairs, so it's like a first there. Yamatomo, then he do it until building a go fella.
And how long did firefighters or EMS take to respond to the fire?
Maybe 8:30 to 9:15. But the buildings like half on top.
Do we know why the people were protesting? Outside Home Affairs?
Information ba strike la di flat gore ba batla o dula mahala mo di flateng, so ba batla o patela yona ntwe ke ile, so aka ba bona.
So basically you were unable to collect your passport, and how is this going to inconvenience you?
Mfa bothata ka gore ke tlamile ke funeral ko Lesotho, so a ke tlhaloganya gore go etsa yang gore ke thole passport ya ka gape because re pateletse, so ha gona information re tholang for now ka passport tsa rona, and no ka di 25 tlamile ke tsamaya and a ke tsore go tsamaya yang kwa Lesotho.
Thank you very much, Abuti, for your time. Well, Iman, that is one of the eyewitnesses. He says he was here to collect his passport when he saw just a number of protesters gathered outside Home Affairs, and before he knew it, he started seeing the first floor of the building on fire, and that's where EMS responded at around 8 o'clock. And he is quite concerned because he needed his passport as he has to travel to Lesotho to attend a funeral, and at this present moment it doesn't look like that will be possible for him as he does not have his passport in hand. We are still waiting to hear from officials that will be coming in here as to how much of a loss this is, you know, what happens to people's ID documents or whatever that could have been lost to this fire, and also what's going to happen from this point. Iman, back to you.
Zola Sholwana, Nqobile Madlala, thank you very much for the update there. They are watching the fire in Ekurhuleni at the Home Affairs building at this stage. Still to be seen how much administrative damage has been done to the documents that normally live in that building.